All right, questions?
Hey, Terry, on Monday you said no one believes in you. You wanted to make sure you emphasize that to your team. How have they internalized that? How have they responded based on what you've seen?
Yeah, they're working really hard. Practice has been great. When we talk to the sports science people and they talk about how the effort and the output of practice has been, this week has been the second best, well, yesterday was the second best Tuesday we had all season. I would imagine we'd follow that up today. Today was a pretty good day as well. So the guys are ready. They know what's in front of them. No one's giving them a chance. And we're just going to stay together and we're going to play hard.
What constitutes the second best Tuesday? How do you quantify that for people like us?
Yeah, so it's like, I'm not in that field, but it's more of the output of fast twitch muscles, right? So like speed numbers are up. Effort numbers are up. Numbers where we're running faster, longer distances are up as opposed to your normal week. So, part of that is the fact that we're playing Ohio State, right? And then the other part is we're coming off a bye week. We're a little more rested. The guys are eager to get after it, and they're taking advantage of these reps.
Now that you're on the end of that bye week and then now into this second week of preparing for Ohio State, how do you feel about the game plan and everything you may have wanted to change on both sides now that you're kind of into that final phase?
Yeah, I feel really good. Today really is your last hard padded practice day. We'll fine-tune some things tomorrow. I feel good about what the offense is doing. Obviously, we want to try to control the game. We have to outrush Ohio State to have a chance. If we don't do that, it'll be a long Saturday. And then we have to make some plays in the pass game. We have to make some critical third downs when necessary and when needed, and especially in the fourth quarter. Defensively, we have to make critical stops, and I think we have a good game plan to have for third down defense, and hopefully we fixed our errors with the quarterback scramble, which has showed up in the last few games. So we've been working hard on that, and I like where we are so far.
Terry, you said earlier that you wanted to change any staff responsibilities right away when you got there in terms of have you changed any since then, and will you change any moving forward?
No, I haven't changed any other than Coach Lucas replacing me. I don't see a need right now. The play callers are the play callers, and the position coaches are the position coaches. Again, we're very, very close. 4 games, 13 points. It's just we're just trying to find that one thing that gets us over the hump and get the ball to bounce our way. So I don't see a need of change in that sense.
Terry, how has Jim handled practice this weekend? He talked with you, the staff, or the players about going back to Ohio State?
Yeah, he told us everything they're going to do. No, I'm just kidding. It's just been business as usual. He gave us some insight as to how they think, but we're just going about our business, just preparing, and just in certain situations, what is Coach Ryan Day thinking? Just insight like that, but. For the most part, we're just preparing of what we see on the film, because this is a new team. This is a new year for them, and they have 3 new coordinators, and they have different ideas and different thoughts and different ways they're doing things from last year. So, it's a talented group, and we know the challenge in hand.
Coach, going off of that, with kind of the notion of Jim Knowles having that perspective coming from a new program, has that changed at all, that you guys are now going up against his old team, or has it been consistent throughout the season and kind of his unique perspective coming from the new program?
No, he, Coach Knowles is extremely smart. He's like a mad scientist in the lab. His approach has been the same, whether it was last week at Iowa or this week, against Ohio State. So, our job is tough. We got to stop the 2 best receivers in college football, and the hottest quarterback in college football. He's throwing 80% completion. It's a tough task. So we've got our work cut out, and he's preparing us for it. And hopefully our game plan works and we can execute it.
Terry, you say that you guys are close, and we've heard that in years past, right? How close this team is to winning games like this. In your opinion, what is the difference between a loss against Ohio State in this moment and a win? Is it belief? Is it playing without pressure? Is it talent? What is the difference?
Yeah, we wore jerseys at Iowa with the word if. It's those infinite possibilities that we have to make come true. And, we have to believe that we're going to make the play. All 4 of those losses, there were plays to be made in the fourth quarter. And, we want to, we have a saying this week, we're going to chop wood. We've got to be able to chop a redwood tree until it's done. And that's a hard task, and it's one chop at a time, and we have to believe in those chops that it'll eventually break through for us, and that's what our belief is for Saturday.
Terry, I know in the offseason, I remember James telling us that you guys spent a good amount of time picking Jim's brain about Ohio State. Is any of that still relevant now, just given that you guys have had so many personnel adjustments throughout even the last 2-3 weeks?
Not really. The personnel is the personnel. We've watched 6 or 7 games of those guys, so this year's a new identity and new tendencies, so we've studied those, and just like Matt Patricia, just trying to figure him out and how he calls defenses, and on the other side how the offense is calling things, and it's a mix because Coach Ryan Day is calling some plays, and they kind of go back and forth as to who the play caller is, and they both have a different style. So just trying to figure out who's going to be the actual play caller. But the data's the data, and that's what we're studying.
Hey Terry, on game day itself, drive by drive, who is responsible for the personnel groupings? Does it fall on yourself, the coordinators, or the position coaches to decide which player is going in at this moment, running back, wide receiver, etc.?
That's a coordinator call.
Terry, I think the last couple of looks at practice, we've seen an eye over at defensive end again. Has he jumped back to the perimeter? Is he going with both? And kind of just curious on that.
Yeah, it's kind of the body that can play inside or outside. He naturally came here as an outside guy. We're just trying to move him around and create some depth. Jalen Harvey was out, and just having a bigger body, just to be able to find ways to stop the run. Like, that's the most critical thing for Saturday. Even though their pass game's elite, you have to stop the run in football to set the tone and control the game, and just trying to find ways to get him involved.
Terry, you mentioned and Jeremiah Smith earlier. From your perspective as with your cornerbacks coach background, what's the scouting report on those guys from, as the position coach? What stands out about them?
Don't let them get behind you. Those guys are elite. Like, Jeremiah Smith has to come back another year. He would be a top 2 or 3 pick last year in the draft, this year in the draft, and next year in the draft. He's that good. He's that talented. He's fast, he's big, he's strong, he's smart, he's competitive. He has all the attributes you want as an elite player. And Carnell can run the route tree. He makes big plays. He's their big play guy when they're looking for explosives. They'll dial him up for him. To stop those guys first, we have to run the ball so they can't get on the field. Right? That's the first way. The second way is we just have to make sure we keep those guys in front of us. We got to put an umbrella over top of the defense and make them earn their way down the field. Make them 4 yards here, 8 yards here, 2 yards there, all the way down the field without making a mistake. And if they do that, it is what it is. You keep it moving. We just can't give up one play touchdowns. If we can do that, we have a chance.
Hey Terry, on the flip side, and I don't want to rehash a whole bunch of things, but are there ways to generate explosive plays from the receiver position without all those physical skills for you guys? Obviously there's differences in the personnel, but you've talked about trying to get the ball down the field more, trying to get more into those intermediate zones. Are there ways to do that if you don't have some of those, things that they have on the other side of the ball?
Yeah, you can do it off of play action. You got to get your run game going so play action can work. Crossing routes, deep crossing routes. Some of your crack posts where, you play action and you're stocking like you're going to stock block, and then you run a post route in there. There are some creative ways. Obviously you can get into your bag of tricks, but that's a tough way to live. You really want to be able to have 3 receivers in the game and run, just great pass concepts. And, we have those in our game plan this week, and we just got to protect Ethan and then allow him to pitch and catch with our receivers.
Terry, kind of want to go back to the question about changes on staff. How much liberty do you have as an interim coach? Is it any different from like a full-time head coach in terms of whether it's play calling or, you know, making a change overall?
Yeah, I'm the head coach, and they told me I can make all final decisions. There's no need to make any changes right now, so that's how I see it.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you.